For some, ultra slim, minimalistic folders is the name of the game when it comes to your EDC rotation. So when BOKER released the Atlas series of folders, I was immediately intrigued. Not only is it sporting a level of robustness we don't always find with ultra slim folders because of its stainless steel handles, but we have a plethora of variety, including 12C27 steel as an option, or D2 steel as an option. We've got classic kind of drop point. We've got spear point with a swedge. We have slip joint options. We have lockback options, and we have different color combinations as well. So BOKER really has potentially set the bar and lifted, with this Atlas series, our expectations on what a compact, ultra minimalistic folder can do. I look forward to unpacking the pros and some of the cons and help you determine if these are the right tools to start putting in your own rotation. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in. Well, we got to begin with thickness, right? I mean, these things are so ridiculously slim. Look at that, 0.19. So, I mean, I've blade stock thicknesses that are thicker than that. Let's go to millimeters just for all of our European friends who are going to like flip out on us. 4.73, 4.75 millimeters, basically under 5 millimeters thick. So wild, and they're both going to come in at under 2 ounces. So like 1.94 ounces for the lockback version, which is going to be a little bit, just slightly larger, just dimensionally, not necessarily in like handle length, but just like wider, I guess. And that's really the first thing right out of the gate. We're looking at 3-inch blade lengths, slightly less cutting edge, full flat grinds on both. You can see there. So really quick slicers, very easy to manipulate, cut through stuff because of the full flat grinds. You know, we're going to remind me a lot of like Swiss Army knives and how they perform, like in their slicing. So if you're used to a Swiss Army knife, you're going to feel very at home with the blade shapes of these and how they perform. Now, one thing right from the get-go is the blade shapes. Now, the slip joint is kind of the base level, if you will, meaning the blade shapes currently seem to be only drop point. You can get a couple different color combinations, but that's it. Whereas with the lockback, you get not only this spear point with a swedge, you can get a sheep's foot with a swedge and a clip point. So there's several blade shape variants as well as handle color combinations. The stainless steel handle stays the same, the material, from my understanding so far in the lineup, but you get different colors, like black with gold looks dope, and then they have like a copper color. Really, really, really cool options. Now, the other thing to note is that the lockback is going to be the D2 variant, and the slip joint is the 12C27. And currently, to my knowledge, they don't swap. Like all the lockbacks are D2, all the slip joints are 12C27. Some of that is also price. You'll see that the slip joints are $28. And the lockbacks are $38. So great high value for the materials, I think. And now they're made, you know, in China, so they're Chinese-made knives, but they don't really feel like Chinese-made knives. And when we look at other, you know, Civivis and, you know, Vostis and stuff, I mean, those are usually a lot more. And so I think that's actually a really good value. I'll have links in the description box below if you want to check these out. And I do appreciate BOKER hooking me up with these so I could show you guys pros. And there's definitely a few cons that I'm going to highlight here, so you guys can make a wise choice. But yeah, so that's kind of the way it stands. D2, good edge retention for what it is, and will hold its edge longer than the 12C. I haven't used 12C27 in a while. You get that on like Mora's. It's more stainless, but you know, you got to tune it up pretty frequently. So it would be nice to probably see variants. I think what would have been best is if they had D2 and Sandvik 14C28N on the slip joint. That would have been really cool and given us options and variations. So we'll see, you know, what happens down the line, but let's just say $30, $40 for lockback. Now, one thing that I did not like, and it was a miss, is the pocket clips. The pocket clips are not well done for one major reason. Now, the flare is fine. They've really made it look good. I mean, these look really good. They look very industrial. The pins are really nice. Even the pivots have like the little pivot tool that you would need if you needed to adjust that you don't. But I mean, these feel very like robust and well put together. and I like the style. It's just unique from what we normally see. But they did not recess the screws, so you're gonna get bound up on that pocket clip real quick. It's gonna sit rather high. It's just not ideal for how slim and sleek the blade is. It was screaming for a wire pocket clip in my mind. If they had put a wire pocket clip on here, it would have been like epic, and at minimum, just recess the screws. I mean, just recessing the screws alone would have really helped with that. Now, it doesn't mean you can't carry it. I've carried them in gym shorts and in slacks, and I mean, they work great. But you're just gonna have them like bind up on the screws and kind of like sometimes get caught. It's gonna trash your pockets faster than if they were recessed or if they were a wire pocket clip. And, sorry lefties, not ambidextrous. So that's a downer. Not ambidextrous. Now you have nice lanyard holes on both, so you could just remove the pocket clips, put it in a fifth coin pocket, just carry it in your pocket. You know, or put it like in a really slim EDC like wallet even, because of how thin these things are. Now in just a moment, we're gonna look at lockback versus slip joint, how do those function, as well as ergonomics and competitive options. But before we go any further in the video, I do wanna invite you to hit the like button, to subscribe if you haven't yet, and make sure to hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every week when I put up new videos breaking down gear and equipment just like this, helping you make wise choices on whether or not it's the right device, tool, piece of equipment to put in your rotation or not. And it is truly you, the viewers, in partnership with our regular sponsors that help me to create content just like this. And I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Zoleo and their satellite communication device, which for years now has allowed me to communicate with my wife. Quick example. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. We're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna text Ashley, let her know, you know, that everything's okay and that I'm here. All right, I love this thing. So it is now 10:26, so it's been 2 minutes and just got one back here. Love you, babe. Doing great. So fantastic. And along with that versatility, the must-have feature of the SOS button, knowing that if I ever get in emergency situation, I can push that button and I will be in contact with first responders worldwide. They will get my GPS coordinates and I can be able to communicate with them through my phone to let them know what the emergency is. And one of my favorite features with this device is its shareability. Yes, I can link my phone to it and use it that way when I'm on my adventures and message my wife and do all the things, but I can unlink my phone, share the device with a friend, they download the app, then when he comes back from the trip, he unlinks and I resync it with my phone. That level of shareability is amazing. So in the description box below, I'm gonna have a link over to the Zoleo website along with my exclusive promo code, which will waive the $40 activation fee. So you can start exploring all the different features and capabilities that this satellite communicator has, along with the different subscription plans that they offer so that you can stay connected to not only first responders, but loved ones on all of your adventures. Now the lockback is on the last quarter of the blade, but again, just looks how, I just like the style. Man, that's why I wanted to test these out. I was like, man, these just look freaking good, man. They look good. A little bit of jimping, so that's good. Easy to disengage. Boom, depress, slides into place. The nail nick is on one side only, very easy to engage, and then it's very solid. It's got a very solid, no wobble, left, right, up, down. Very tight lock up there, and then boom, you just close and put that away. On the slip joint, same thing. You pull that thing out. You can see the bar, the tension bar is right there. Very large tension bar, and you see how it kind of pops up when you depress. And it's got good tension. So I mean, you really got to like press on it. I'm squeezing with all my might there. You got to really kind of think about what you're doing, which is good. And then it's got to go all the way to right there to snap into place. Good centering. Doesn't hit the back edges. The edges are holding up good, like into the body and the housing, and then boom, into place there. So for a slip joint, I'm happy with the action. For the lockup, I'm happy with the lockup, particularly with this style. You know, if it was one hand open, I would have liked the lockback to be more centered, but for this style, totally fine, no issues there. Now ergonomically, they are the same length when we line them up that way, but you can see that the lockback D2 version is slightly broader and has a little bit of a deeper cut in there, just giving you a little bit more grip, showing that you're probably gonna be a little bit more aggressive with the lockback than you would with the slip joint. Now it just fits in my large size hands, which span 3.25 right there. Large size hands, whereas large size gloves. I can just get enough real estate that it doesn't feel like I'm losing the knife. So it would have been great if it was about a ½ inch longer, would have been perfect for me. But for this idea of just quick cuts, I mean, these are just quick cut knives, same right here, no issues, good little guard right there. Again, more aggressive guard on the Lockback. Now, because they're so slim, these are not, and because they're metal handles, they're not super ergonomic and comfortable. Now, they're not sharp. They've rounded some of the edges pretty well, but it's just, this is a quick cutting tool. You're not gonna be sitting there like, oh, let me like whittle a wood spirit and, you know, cut through 100,000 pieces of cardboard at work today. These are quick cut stuff. That's all that's good for. That's what they're designed for, and that's where they function at. But you have enough real estate, I feel like, in grip that you feel confident using the tool for a short period of time. Now, as we look at some quick competitive options here, I think this is the only current slip joint that I have. This is an American-made Buck, and I cannot remember the model off the top of my head. It's the 250, made in America, 154 cm, so obviously much better steel. Micarta handles, you can get G10 handles. No pocket clip though, so that's kind of a downer. Fuller handle, obviously a lot thicker. My pinky is like resting up against there, but it's got a fuller handle. The slip joint has less tension, I feel, than on the slip joint of the BOKER. Let's just see there. Maybe the same. Maybe, yeah, the BOKER maybe just a little bit. So yeah, the Buck definitely has a little less tension. It's still there. I mean, you got to go all the way to there to snap it into place. But that is a viable option for, I want to say, a little over 100. Last I checked, it's been a while since I've done a video on this. A very cool blade. These I think are just more carryable because of the pocket clip and how slim they are. So that's something to consider. And then when we just kind of look at like weight, you know, the blade that started it all is the Benchmade Mini Bug Out and Bug Out series. Kind of brought in the idea of like lightweight blades, especially this Mini Bug Out being under 2 ounces. You can see very similar size. S30V, $150 ballpark for the Mini. But you can see there just kind of ambidextrous, but similar grip. Now, the difference is we got like rigid metal versus like the polymer. You know, this feels very like clunky. Now, obviously, nice smooth action, better blade steel, American made versus overseas made. But that is something just to kind of be aware of and kind of consider there. That you're gonna have a very similar size range. And let's be real, probably a lot of similar performance in the sense of just like what you're gonna be cutting. I don't know what you're gonna be cutting with this outside of just very basic stuff. I'm not gonna be gripping this for an hour and doing wood spirits. That's for like, I don't know, something like this, or you know, just big beefy, much more ergonomic blade. Here's a giant mouse. You know, that's a big fat full handle right there. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this holds the weight of the world of slim, ultralight, budget-friendly EDC tools, or is it kind of like, it's just not for me for some of the reasons that we maybe talked about, maybe ergonomics, maybe because they're metal housing, maybe steel choices, or pocket clip. Always appreciate your guys' feedback. Always appreciate your guys' input. Thanks for hanging with me today. Check out the other videos. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.